Hello, welcome to another edition of the Mexico in the World podcast, the podcast so that we can talk about what is happening in Mexico and the world. This time we are going to talk about the International Day of Peace of the United Nations. Which leads me to invite you to let us think and reflect together about what is happening in the world, because what is being experienced precisely in Ukraine with the war between Russia and Ukraine. And think, for example, in the case of Mexico that we are experiencing as some people see it. Another type of war, but a war with what is organized crime and drug trafficking, and not only in Mexico as I mentioned in other countries. Circumstances are also still being experienced that lead us to think that there is still no peace in the world, such as terrorist acts that even if they are isolated in some other countries. So let's reflect on it and hope that in the future the world can have more peace and there are no longer so many effects somehow of different kinds of wars and people can live more peacefully now. Let's talk on the other hand of the International Day without tobacco. This also leads us to think and reflect on so many things that have been said about tobacco, for example about its effects on health such as cancer, and not only on the person who smokes but also the effects that are had on what is called passive smoking, which are those people who unfortunately breathe tobacco smoke and also its consequences. And we are also going to talk about what is tobacco industry, because there is also a lot of talk for and against this industry because it generates a lot of income. On the other hand, there is also a lot of talk for and against about tobacco and its effects on pollution, especially in carbon dioxide levels, and how it affects pollution. So there is also another issue about tobacco for and against what are vapors and electronic cigarettes, because they also have had a county mention their pros and cons, because some consider them a solution for those who want to quit smoking. Others do not see it that way, and also some mention the risks of these electronic cigarettes and vapors on the health of young people, although it is said that it is less. However, they mention the effects on everyone in the lungs of young people, and this leads us to think that people also start smoking too young. So let's reflect on how I told them about so many points that there are for and against such delicate issues as this one about tobacco. Lastly, I would like to mention the commemoration of Navy Day in Mexico. Especially because in Mexico the Navy is held in high esteem, and Navy Day is not only celebrated in Mexico but also in other countries such as Russia. We are going to leave it here for the moment, and how I told you, so that we think about these issues. Let us reflect and hope that this little by little will lead us to make the world a world, or better yet, I don't want to say goodbye without thanking you for not listening to each other and reminding you of our social networks email, podcastmexicointheworld@gmail.com, Twitter, @MexicoTheWorld, Facebook, Mexico in the World podcast, YouTube, Mexico in the World. Thanks again for listening to us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next edition. Thanks, bye.